Hello everyone, welcome back. Earlier we have discussed about the structure of cell, and in this video we will be discussing about the cell envelope and osmosis. Now firstly we will learn about the cell envelope. By hearing the word envelope, I think so you must have judged what it is. We are going to learn about the outermost layer or outermost covering of the cell. So what is a cell envelope? In plant cell, it is made up of cell wall and cell membrane. This is the outer covering for plant cell. Now what is cell wall made up of? Let's see in detail about cell wall. Plant cell wall, generally it is made up of cellulose, and it is the outermost hard covering of the cell, which is used to maintain the shape and size of cell, and also it protects it from external environmental changes. Now this rigid cell wall made up of cellulose. What is the use of this cellulose and why the cell wall or the outermost layer of the cell is rigid? What is the purpose of this rigidity? This cell wall allows only the movement of oxygen and carbon dioxide, whereas glucose, protein and waste materials are moved out of from the cell only through this cell wall. Now we will be going in more detail. So let's see what happens. Actually this is shown by animation. Not everything can enter it from it into the cell. Now what's the major difference between plant and animal cell is that plant cell contains cell wall, whereas animal cell it doesn't. So why it is so? Because plant have to live in an external environment and they are stable. They can't move from one place to another place. They have to persist rainfall, even the huge temperature differences, and sometimes very harsh environment. Whereas animals can protect themselves. They have their fur on skin. They can move inside the caves or wherever in such environment. So the extra protective layer is only added to plant and not in animal. Now the second membrane. Now the second part, cell membrane. It is common in both plant and animal. Animal cell have the outermost layer as cell membrane only, and plant it also has cell membrane. What is it made up of? This cell membrane is generally made up of proteins and lipids, and it is also semi-permeable membrane. It also allows only particular things to move inside out. It allows oxygen, carbon dioxide, glucose, protein and waste material in and out of the cell. This is semi-permeable. Now what is semi-permeable? Why it is named as semi-permeable? Because this membrane does not allow everything to pass through it. It will allow only a certain types of material to pass through it. Since it is less selective, so it is known as selectively permeable or just semi-permeable, because it doesn't allow everything to pass. It allows only certain things to pass through it. Now we have seen about cell membrane. Here we will go more. Now what can we see? Inside the animal cell, and this one is the plant cell. We have seen the external difference between both plant and animal cell, that is of cell wall. Now other than cell wall, what are the other things which makes them different? Or we will see what is a cell envelope. This we have done. How the particles move in and out of this cell envelope, now we will see through it. This process will be named as osmosis. There are two ways, diffusion and osmosis. We will see both the ways, how these things moves in and out of the cell. And what is diffusion? See, diffusion is a process in which solid, liquid and gaseous substance move from higher concentration to lower concentration. When the animal cell requires oxygen to produce energy, then how does it get oxygen? The cell membrane we have seen just now is a semi-permeable and allows the oxygen to move into it and outside it. What happens? External environment have more amount of oxygen as compared to the internal environment of the cell. So oxygen concentration is more in the air and than the cell. Hence, due to concentration difference, the oxygen moves into the cell, and this is nothing but diffusion. Higher concentration substances are moving from high to low, whereas carbon dioxide, which is the waste material in the cell, it has more concentration in the cell, and environment CO2 concentration is low, so carbon dioxide move from cell to the environment, and oxygen, since it is more concentration in the environment, so it moves from environment to the cell. Now the second mode of transportation is osmosis. For define osmosis, then it is the process in which water moves from higher concentration to lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. And let's see a performance of activity, how it moves. Firstly, we will take two jars, A and B. Now we pour water in A and the same in B, but A is full and B is half. Then we are adding sugar. 1 spoon of sugar is added and we stir it well to make a perfect solution. Now A is less concentrated and B is more concentrated. Since we have equal solute but more solvent in A, and B has less solvent but same solute, so B is more concentrated. Here A solution A will be known as hypotonic, and solution B will be known as hypertonic. Hypo and hyper, these terms are coined on the basis of solute. Since B has more amount of solute, it is hyper, and since A has less amount of solute, it is hypotonic. Now take another beaker C which has pure water in it. Now what to do? Both A and C will be isotonic solution if they have same concentration. Now take a glass D, also fill it half. Now B and D, both B and D will be isotonic since we have taken the same amount of solute and same amount of solvent in B and D and A and C. This is about solutions. If two solutions have same concentration, then they are said to be isotonic. If the solution A has less concentration than B, then it is hypotonic, whereas when the solution concentration is more, it is hypertonic. What happens when a cell is kept in an hypertonic solution? There will be osmosis, movement of water, because in both hypo and hyper, what is the main difference? Difference of solute. And we have seen that water will be moving from higher concentration to lower concentration. Now if I kept it in an hypotonic solution where the concentration of outer area or the solution is less than that of the cell, then again there will be osmosis and the cell will swell. Now if we take the isotonic solution which has the same concentration as that of the cell, there will be no effect on the size of cell. Since both have same concentration, water will not flow anywhere, because for osmosis it requires concentration difference. Now let's see the example of plants, how osmosis and diffusion works in plants. See there, the roots of the plant are immersed in water and the water is moving up in the xylem. Now how can it is possible? Why water is moving inside? Since the concentration of water in the plant is less than the concentration of water outside the plant, or we can say that the water we are pouring in it is a hypotonic solution, whereas the water present in the plant cell is hypertonic. So water will flow from hypotonic solution into plant cell, and the plant cell will absorb water or swell and becomes turgid. Now we can summarize the chapter. Cell envelope is made up of a cell wall and plasma membrane. In the next video we will understand various nucleus and